Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES horizon and looked out at the stars. His ship was moving toward a planet called Kepler 442b. This was not just any planet. This was the home of the first aliens that humans had ever found. They called themselves the Zephyrians. Jake had been a space captain for 20 years. He had seen many strange things in space, but he had never met aliens before. Nobody had. Today would change everything for humans. "Captain, we are getting close to their space station," said Lieutenant Emma Ross. She was sitting at the communications desk. Her job was to talk to the aliens using radio signals. "Good," Jake said. "Dr. Park, are you ready with the translator?" Dr. Lisa Park looked up from her computer. She was the smartest person on the ship when it came to languages. For months, she had been working on a machine that could translate human words into alien words. The Zephyrians had sent them some of their language, but not very much. "I think so, Captain," Lisa said. "The translator should work. But I have to be honest. We do not know much about how they talk. We only have basic words and phrases." Commander Alex Stone walked over to them. He was the military officer on the ship. His job was to protect everyone if things went wrong. "I still think this is dangerous," Alex said. "We do not know anything about these aliens. What if they want to hurt us?" Jake shook his head. "Alex, we have been talking to them on the radio for 6 months. They seem friendly. They invited us to visit their space station. That does not sound like something enemies would do." Emma looked at her screen. "Captain, I am getting a message from the Zephyrian station. They are giving us permission to dock." "Excellent," Jake said. He felt excited but also nervous. This was the most important day in human history. Down in the engine room, Chief Engineer Danny Cole was checking all the ship's systems. Everything had to work perfectly today. The engines were running well. The life support was good. The communication systems were working fine. Danny looked at the universal translator device. It was a big machine with lots of wires and computer chips. Lisa had spent months programming it with Zephyrian words. The machine would listen to what humans said and change it into Zephyrian language. It would also change Zephyrian words into English. The machine looked normal to Danny. All the lights were green, but Danny did not know that something was wrong deep inside. 3 days ago, the ship had flown through a solar storm. The storm had damaged some of the translator's memory chips. The damage was so small that the ship's computers could not find it. Back on the bridge, Jake was getting ready for the meeting. He put on his best uniform. Lisa checked her translation notes one more time. Alex made sure his weapon was working just in case. "The Zephyrians said their queen wants to meet us personally," Emma said. "Her name is Queen Vithara. She rules their whole empire." "A queen," Jake said. "That means we need to be very polite." "Lisa, what is the right way to greet a Zephyrian queen?" Lisa looked at her notes. "According to what they taught us, we should say, 'Your Majesty, it is an honor to meet you.' The translator should change that into their language automatically." Alex frowned. "What if the translator makes a mistake?" "It will not make a mistake," Lisa said. "I have tested it many times. The basic greetings work perfectly." The ship was getting closer to the Zephyrian space station. Through the windows they could see it. The station was beautiful. It looked like it was made of crystal and light. It was much bigger than any human space station. "Look at that," Emma said. "It is amazing," Jake nodded. The Zephyrians were clearly very advanced. Their technology was much better than human technology. But they had been friendly in all their messages. They seemed curious about humans just like humans were curious about them. "Captain," Emma said, "the Zephyrians are asking us to bring only 3 people. You, Dr. Park, and Commander Stone." "That makes sense," Jake said. "Lisa needs to be there for translation. Alex needs to be there for security." Lisa packed her portable translator device. It was connected to the main translator on the ship. She also brought her computer with all her language notes. Alex checked his equipment. He brought a small weapon, but he hid it under his jacket. He did not want to look threatening to the aliens. Jake looked at himself in the mirror. He wanted to look professional but friendly. This meeting would decide whether humans and Zephyrians would be friends or enemies. "Remember," Jake told his team, "we are representing all of humanity today. We need to be respectful and careful, but we also need to show them that humans are good people." The ship docked with the alien station. Jake could feel the slight bump as the 2 ships connected. His heart was beating fast. "This is it," he said. "Let us go make history." The 3 humans walked to the airlock. On the other side was an alien world. None of them knew that in a few minutes everything would go terribly wrong. The airlock door opened with a soft hiss. Jake Morrison, Lisa Park, and Alex Stone stepped into the Zephyrian space station. What they saw took their breath away. The walls seemed to be made of living crystal. Soft light flowed through them like water. The ceiling was so high they could barely see it. Strange music filled the air. It sounded like wind chimes mixed with singing. "This is incredible," Lisa whispered. She had studied alien cultures for years, but nothing had prepared her for this. Alex stayed close to Jake. His hand was near his hidden weapon. Even though the place was beautiful, he was still worried about danger. A group of Zephyrians walked toward them. The aliens were tall and thin. Their skin looked like it was made of pale blue crystal. They moved like they were floating instead of walking. Their clothes seemed to be made of light itself. "Welcome, humans," one of the Zephyrians said. The translator device in Lisa's pocket turned the alien words into English. "Please follow us to the throne room." Jake nodded and smiled. The aliens seemed friendly so far. They walked through long hallways filled with beautiful art. Everything glowed with soft colors. Finally, they reached two enormous doors. The doors were covered with patterns that seemed to move and change. The Zephyrian guide touched the doors and they opened silently. The throne room was the most amazing place any of the humans had ever seen. The room was huge. Hundreds of Zephyrians stood along the walls. They all wore robes that sparkled like stars. At the far end of the room was a throne made of pure crystal, and on the throne sat Queen Vithara. The queen was the most beautiful alien the humans had ever imagined. She was taller than the other Zephyrians. Her crystal skin was a deeper blue color. Her hair looked like it was made of flowing silver light. Her robes changed colors slowly like a sunset. "That must be the queen," Jake said quietly to his team. The three humans walked across the long room. Every Zephyrian in the room was watching them. Jake could feel their eyes on him. He tried to look confident and friendly. When they reached the throne, Jake stopped and looked up at Queen Vithara. She was even more impressive up close. Her eyes were like blue diamonds. She looked at the humans with curiosity. This was the moment Jake had practiced for months. He knew exactly what to say. He took a deep breath and spoke clearly. "Your Majesty, it is an honor to meet you." The words came out of Jake's mouth in English. The translator device picked up his words and started to change them into Zephyrian language. But inside the machine, the damaged memory chips twisted his words. What the queen heard was completely different. In Zephyrian language, Jake's greeting became, "False ruler, your bloodline disgusts me." The effect was immediate and terrible. Queen Vithara's beautiful blue skin suddenly turned dark purple. Her diamond eyes flashed with anger. She stood up from her throne so fast that her robes swirled around her like a storm. Every Zephyrian in the room gasped. Some of them stepped backward. Others reached for weapons that Jake had not noticed before. "What did you just say?" the queen demanded. Her voice was no longer musical. It was cold and angry. Jake was confused. He had no idea what was wrong. "I said it was an honor to meet you, Your Majesty. Did I say something wrong?" But the translator was still broken. Jake's confused question came out as, "I said your crown is stolen, false queen. What will you do about it?" The queen's anger grew even stronger. Her skin turned almost black with rage. "How dare you?" she shouted. "How dare you insult me and my family in my own throne room?" Lisa realized something was wrong. She quickly pulled out her computer and started checking the translation system. But everything looked normal on her screen. "Your Majesty," Lisa said carefully, "I think there might be a problem with our translator." But the machine twisted her words too. What the queen heard was, "Your Majesty is a problem that needs to be fixed." Now the queen was furious. She pointed at the humans with a finger that glowed with angry light. "Guards!" she commanded. "Arrest these insulting creatures." Zephyrian soldiers appeared from everywhere. They carried weapons that looked like they were made of lightning. They surrounded the three humans. Alex reached for his weapon, but Jake grabbed his arm. "No," Jake said, "do not make this worse." But even Jake's attempt to calm things down was changed by the broken translator. The Queen heard. "No mercy. We will make this much worse." Queen Vithara's face showed pure rage. "You threaten me in my own palace? You insult my family and then threaten violence?" Jake was desperate. He could see that everything was going wrong, but he did not understand why. "Please, Your Majesty, we do not want to fight. We came here in peace." The translator turned his peaceful words into, "Please die, Your Majesty. We do not want peace. We came here for war. That was the last straw." The Queen raised her hand and all the guards pointed their weapons at the humans. "You have shown your true nature," Queen Vithara said. Her voice was like ice. "You are not peaceful explorers. You are barbarians who insult queens and threaten violence." Lisa was frantically working on her computer, trying to figure out what was wrong. Alex was ready to fight, even though they were outnumbered 100-1. Jake felt sick. This was supposed to be humanity's greatest moment. Instead, it was becoming a disaster. "Take them back to their ship," the Queen ordered. "Tell them to leave our space immediately. If they are not gone in 1 hour, we will destroy them." The guards forced the humans to walk back through the beautiful hallways, but now the beauty seemed cold and threatening. "Captain," Alex said quietly, "what just happened in there?" "I do not know," Jake said. "But we need to figure it out fast, or we are all going to die." As they walked back to their ship, none of them knew that their broken translator had just started the first war between humans and aliens. The 3 humans ran back to their ship as fast as they could. Behind them, Zephyrian guards followed with their lightning weapons ready. Jake Morrison felt like his heart was going to explode. Everything had gone wrong so quickly. "Get us out of here," Jake shouted as soon as they were back on the bridge. "Wait," Lisa Park said. "Something is very wrong with our translator. We need to figure out what happened." Alex Stone was already at his station checking the ship's weapons. "Captain, we have bigger problems. Look at the screen." Jake looked at the main screen and felt his stomach drop. Zephyrian warships were coming from all directions. There were at least 20 of them, and more were arriving every minute. "They are surrounding us," Emma Ross said from her communications station. "And Captain, I'm picking up radio messages between their ships." "What are they saying?" Jake asked. Emma listened to the alien voices. The translator was still working for radio signals. "They are calling us the insulting humans and enemies of the crown. They are talking about destroying us if we do not leave immediately." Lisa was working frantically at her computer. She was checking every line of code in the translation program. "There has to be an error somewhere. I said the right greeting." "I know I did." Danny Cole ran onto the bridge. "Captain, what is happening?" "The aliens are powering up weapons out there." "Our translator broke somehow," Jake said. "Every time we tried to be polite, we apparently insulted their queen instead." Danny's face went pale. "Oh no, Captain. 3 days ago, we flew through that solar storm. I thought all our systems were okay, but maybe something got damaged. Check the translator right now," Jake ordered. Danny and Lisa ran to the translator room. The big machine looked normal, but when Danny opened the main panel, he found the problem. "Here it is," Danny said. "Solar radiation fried some of the memory chips. The machine is translating words, but it is using the wrong meanings." Lisa looked at the damaged chips. "This is terrible. Every time we said something nice, the machine probably turned it into an insult." Back on the bridge, Alex was counting enemy ships. "Captain, we now have 30 Zephyrian warships around us. Our weapons are no match for them." Jake stared at the screen. The beautiful crystal ships looked deadly now. Each one could probably destroy the U.S. horizon with a single shot. "Sir," Emma said, "I am getting a message from Queen Vithara herself." "Put it on the main screen," Jake said. The Queen's angry face appeared on their screen. Her crystal skin was still dark with rage. Behind her, Jake could see dozens of Zephyrian officials. "Humans," the Queen said, "you have 1 hour to leave our space. If you are still here after that, we will destroy your ship. And we are sending messages to all Zephyrian worlds. We are telling them that your species cannot be trusted." The screen went black. Alex turned to Jake. "Captain, we need to run, now, before more ships arrive." But Jake was thinking. He had been a space captain for 20 years. He had gotten out of bad situations before. But this was different. This was not just about saving his ship. This was about saving the friendship between humans and aliens. "No," Jake said. "We are not running." "What?" Alex stared at him. Captain, they will kill us. Maybe, Jake said. But if we run now, humans and Zephyrians will be enemies forever. The Queen will tell everyone that humans are liars and insulters. No alien will ever trust us again. Lisa came back to the bridge. Captain, we found the problem. The translator is completely broken. Every nice thing we said came out as an insult. Can you fix it? Jake asked. Not quickly enough, Lisa said. It would take days to repair all the damaged ships. Jake walked to the window and looked at the alien ships. They were so beautiful, even while they were preparing to destroy him. There has to be another way to communicate, he said. Like what? Alex asked. We do not speak their language. Emma had an idea. What about mathematics? Math is the same for everyone, right? Lisa's eyes lit up. That could work. We could use numbers and pictures to show them that we made a mistake. Alex shook his head. That is crazy. You want to go back over there and draw pictures while they are pointing weapons at us? Yes, Jake said. That is exactly what we are going to do. Captain, that is suicide, Alex said. Jake turned to face his crew. Listen to me. We are humans. When things get hard, we do not give up. When we make mistakes, we fix them. That is what makes us human. Lisa was already preparing. I can use basic math to show them the concept of translation errors. If I start with simple numbers and build up to more complex ideas. Do it, Jake said. Alex, you are coming with us. I will not let you do this alone, Alex said. But I think we are all going to die. Maybe, Jake said. But we are going to try anyway. Emma watched them prepare to leave. Captain, what if it does not work? Jake smiled at her. Then at least we will die trying to fix our mistake instead of running away from it. The three humans prepared to go back to the alien station. This time they brought no translator. Instead, Lisa carried tablets full of mathematical equations and simple pictures. As they walked to the airlock, more Zephyrian ships arrived. The aliens were preparing for war. You know, Alex said, most people would call this the stupidest plan in history. Probably, Jake said, but most people are not humans lost in space trying to prevent a war. They stepped into the airlock again. On the other side, angry aliens were waiting. Last chance to change your mind, Alex said. Jake pressed the button to open the door. Humans do not change their minds when people need help, even if those people are aliens who want to kill us. The door opened. Time to find out if human stubbornness could save the day. The Zephyrian guards were surprised to see the humans return. Their lightning weapons were already charged and ready to fire. The lead guard spoke in the alien language, but without the translator, Jake Morrison could not understand the words. Jake held up his hands to show he was not carrying weapons. We need to see the Queen again, he said, knowing they could not understand him. Lisa Park stepped forward with her tablet. She showed the guards a simple picture of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then she pointed to herself and made counting motions with her fingers. One of the guards looked confused. He said something to the others in Zephyrian. They seemed to be discussing what the humans were doing. Alex Stone stayed close to Jake, ready to protect him if the guards attacked. But the guards seemed more curious than angry now. Lisa showed them another picture. This one had the human symbol for plus and equals. She showed them 2 + 2 are 4. Then she drew it in the sand on the floor. The guards talked among themselves for several minutes. Finally, the lead guard made a decision. He gestured for the humans to follow him. They walked back through the crystal hallways. This time, more Zephyrians came out to watch them. Word was spreading through the station that the insulting humans had returned. When they reached the throne room, Queen Vythara was still sitting on her crystal throne. But now she was surrounded by what looked like her advisors and generals. All of them looked angry. The queen saw the humans enter and her crystal skin turned purple again. She spoke in rapid Zephyrian. Jake could not understand the words, but her tone was clear. She was furious that they had come back. Jake walked to the center of the room. Every alien eye was watching him. He could feel their anger like heat from a fire. Lisa stepped forward and held up her tablet. She showed the queen the same numbers she had shown the guards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The queen looked confused. She said something to her advisors. They seemed puzzled too. Lisa showed more math. She drew addition, subtraction, multiplication. The queen and her advisors watched carefully. Some of them started to look interested instead of angry. Then Lisa did something clever. She showed the queen a simple equation. 2 plus 2 cursed 4. But then she crossed it out and wrote 2 plus 2 cursed 7. She pointed to the wrong equation and shook her head. Then she pointed to the right equation and nodded. Error, Lisa said clearly in English. She pointed to the wrong math and said error again. One of the Queen's advisors stepped forward. He looked like a scientist with tools and instruments hanging from his robes. He spoke to the Queen in excited Zephyrian. The Queen listened to her advisor, then looked back at Lisa. She said something in Zephyrian that sounded like a question. Lisa nodded and showed more examples. She showed correct math and incorrect math. Each time she pointed to the wrong math and said, error. The scientist advisor became very excited. He started talking rapidly to the Queen. Jake could not understand the words, but he could see that the advisor was starting to understand what Lisa was trying to show them. Lisa then did something even more clever. She drew a picture of a human mouth. Then she drew a picture of a machine. Then she drew a picture of Zephyrian symbols. She connected them with arrows. She pointed to the machine and said error again. The Queen's scientist advisor gasped. He understood. He started explaining to the Queen in rapid Zephyrian tone. Queen Vithara listened carefully to her advisor. Her angry purple color started to fade a little. She looked at the humans with new interest. The Queen spoke to her advisor, asking what sounded like questions. The advisor answered and pointed at Lisa's drawings. Jake watched all this happen and felt a tiny bit of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they were starting to understand. Lisa was not done. She drew more pictures. She showed the human greeting that Jake had said. She drew it with symbols and arrows showing how it should have been translated. Then she drew what the broken machine had actually said instead. The advisor's eyes went wide. He talked even faster to the Queen. Other advisors joined the conversation. Soon, half the throne room was having an excited discussion in Zephyrian. Queen Vithara held up her hand for silence. Everyone stopped talking immediately. She looked at Lisa for a long moment. Then the Queen did something unexpected. She stood up from her throne and walked down to where Lisa was standing. Up close, Jake could see that the Queen was very tall and very intelligent. The Queen pointed to Lisa's drawings and said something in Zephyrian. It sounded like a question. Lisa nodded and showed her more examples. She drew the human words for honor and respect. She showed how these should translate into Zephyrian symbols of friendship and politeness. Then she showed what the broken machine had actually said. She drew Zephyrian symbols that meant false and disgusting and stolen. The Queen stared at the drawings. Jake could see understanding growing in her diamond eyes. The Queen called her scientist advisor over. They talked for several minutes, examining Lisa's drawings carefully. The advisor asked questions and Lisa answered by drawing more pictures and showing more math. Finally, the Queen straightened up. She looked at Jake with an expression he could not read. She spoke one word in Zephyrian. It sounded like a question. Lisa quickly drew a picture of two hands shaking. Then she drew a picture of the broken translator machine with a big X over it. Then she drew Jake pointing to himself and saying, sorry. The Queen stared at the pictures for a long time. The entire throne room was silent except for the soft music that always played in Zephyrian buildings. Alex whispered to Jake, do you think she understands? I do not know, Jake whispered back. But Lisa is doing something amazing here. The Queen finally spoke to her advisors. They talked among themselves for what felt like hours but was probably only minutes. Jake watched and waited. Everything depended on whether the aliens could understand that humans had made an honest mistake. Queen Vithara finished talking with her advisors and turned back to the humans. Her crystal skin had changed from angry purple to a lighter blue color. Jake Morrison held his breath and waited. The Queen walked closer to Lisa Park and pointed to the drawings on the tablet. She said something in Zephyrian that sounded like a question. Lisa quickly drew more pictures. She showed the solar storm that had damaged their ship. She drew the broken computer chips inside the translator. She showed how the machine had changed good words into bad words. The Queen's scientist advisor stepped forward and examined the drawings carefully. He pointed to different parts and asked questions in Zephyrian. Lisa answered by drawing more detailed pictures. After several minutes, the advisor turned to the Queen and spoke rapidly. Jake could not understand the words, but the advisor sounded excited and convinced. Queen Vithara listened to everything her advisor said. Then she looked at Jake directly. Her diamond eyes seemed to look right into his soul. The Queen spoke a few words in Zephyrian. Jake did not understand, but her tone had changed completely. She no longer sounded angry. Lisa quickly drew a picture of Jake bowing respectfully. Then she drew a picture of herself and Alex doing the same thing. She showed this to the Queen. Understanding what Lisa meant, Jake bowed deeply to the Queen. Alex and Lisa did the same thing. Queen Vithara watched them bow. Then she did something that amazed everyone in the throne room. She bowed back to the humans. The entire room gasped. Zephyrian advisors and guards looked shocked. Apparently, queens did not usually bow to anyone. The Queen straightened up and spoke to her advisors. Her tone was firm and commanding. Several advisors argued with her, but she held up her hand for silence. Then the Queen did something even more surprising. She walked to a wall where there was some kind of communication device. She began speaking into it in Zephyrian. "What is she doing?" Alex Stone whispered. "I think she is making an announcement," Jake said. The Queen spoke for several minutes. Her voice carried throughout the space station. Jake could hear her words echoing in the hallways outside the throne room. When she finished speaking, the Queen walked back to the humans. She looked at Jake and spoke in Zephyrian. Then she pointed to Lisa's drawings and nodded. Lisa quickly drew a picture of humans and Zephyrians shaking hands. She showed this to the Queen. Queen Vithara smiled. It was the first time Jake had seen a Zephyrian smile, and it was beautiful. The Queen's crystal skin glowed with warm light. The Queen called her advisor over and spoke to him. The advisor nodded and ran out of the throne room. A few minutes later, the advisor returned with a small device. He handed it to the Queen, and she walked over to the humans. The Queen held up the device and spoke into it. Jake heard her words come out in perfect English. "Humans of Earth, I apologize for the misunderstanding." Jake's mouth fell open. "You can speak English?" The Queen smiled again. "A little. We have been studying your language since we first received your radio signals, but we wanted to use your translator to be polite." "Your Majesty," Jake said, "we are the ones who should apologize. Our broken machine made us say terrible things to you." "I understand now," the Queen said. "My advisors have explained what happened. Your machine was damaged, and it changed your respectful words into insults." Lisa stepped forward. "Your Majesty, we never meant to offend you or your people. We came here hoping to be friends." Queen Vithara nodded. "I believe you, and I have learned something important about humans today." "What is that?" Jake asked. "Most species would have run away after such a disaster," the Queen said. "But you came back. You risked your lives to fix the misunderstanding. You did not give up even when it seemed hopeless." Alex looked surprised. "You are not angry anymore?" "No," the Queen said. "I am impressed. You have shown me that humans have great courage and determination. These are qualities that we Zephyrians respect very much." The Queen walked back to her throne and spoke to her advisors in Zephyrian. They nodded and began leaving the room. "What did you tell them?" Jake asked. "I told them to send a message to all Zephyrian worlds," the Queen said. "I am telling my people that humans are to be welcomed as friends. I am also telling them about your bravery today." Jake felt relief wash over him like a wave. "Thank you, Your Majesty." "There is more," the Queen said. "I want to propose an alliance between our peoples. We can learn much from each other." Lisa was so excited she could barely speak. "Your Majesty, that would be wonderful." The Queen stood up from her throne. "Captain Morrison, would you and your crew like to stay on our station for a few days? My scientists would like to work with Dr. Park to build better translation systems. We want to make sure this kind of mistake never happens again." "We would be honored," Jake said. Queen Vithara walked over to the humans one more time. "Captain, may I ask you something?" "Of course, Your Majesty. Why did you come back? You could have escaped to your ship and flown away. Why did you risk everything to fix a mistake?" Jake thought about the question. "Your Majesty, humans have a saying, if you make a mess, you clean it up. We do not run away from our problems. We fix them." The Queen's crystal skin glowed brighter. "That is exactly what I hoped you would say." 6 months later, Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was called the UES Friendship, and it was built using both human and Zephyrian technology. Lisa Park had become the head of the new interspecies communication department. She had helped create translation systems that would never make the same mistakes again. Alex Stone was now the commander of the joint human-Zephyrian exploration fleet. He had learned that sometimes the best way to handle danger was not to fight it, but to understand it. Queen Vythara had become one of humanity's best friends in the galaxy. She often told other alien species about the day the humans came back to fix their mistake, instead of running away. "Captain," Emma Ross said from her station, "we are receiving a message from Earth. They want to know if we are ready for our next mission." Jake smiled. "Tell them we are ready, and tell them that we have new friends coming with us." Through the window, Jake could see a fleet of beautiful crystal ships flying alongside human vessels. In the distance, they were heading toward a star system where another alien species had been discovered. "You know," Jake said to his crew, "I think humans are going to do just fine in this galaxy." And he was right.